Oh, really? Oh, okay. Okay, guys. Today, we're going to talk about absolute value. Now, it's something you've probably never heard of, or the majority have never heard of, but it's actually a very simple concept. In the world, in the real world, when do we deal with positive numbers? Give me examples of when we deal with positive numbers.
Wait, that's basically the numbers you use, like 5 times 5.
Okay, but give me a scenario. I'll give you one. Okay? We think of positive numbers as we go up in the atmosphere. Okay? If we're going up 5,000 feet, be a positive 5,000. Okay? Think of some other examples of where we would have positive numbers. Max?
Shopping. Money.
I'm going to come back to the shopping later. Clark?
Like, you have, like, $598 in your bank account.
Okay, if you have money in your account, that's a positive.
Yes.
Okay, that would be a positive.
Like, can it deal with coordinates, like how hot, like your altitude?
The altitude would be a positive. Okay, you're going up. If you deposit money into your account, that's a positive. Okay? Think of some scenarios in which we deal with negative numbers, or we think of things as negative numbers.
When you're traveling underground?
When you're going underground, we think that we're going down, we're going into negative. Okay?
Taking money out of your bank account?
Withdrawing money would be a negative.
Going under the sea?
Going under the sea, yeah, 10,000, whatever it is under the sea. Leagues under the sea. Okay? Maybe if it's below zero. Okay? Below freezing, we think of negatives. Okay? So, we deal in the real world, we deal with positives and negative numbers. Okay? So, on your next page in your notebook, write down absolute value. Yeah,
If it's like the way it is in Study Island, it's going to be really easy.
it is. It's a very easy concept. Okay? Now, before we really get into absolute value, I want you guys to learn a new word as well. Integers. Now, maybe on Study Island you've seen the term integers. We've seen them a little bit with the different lessons this year. An integer is, for lack of better words, I'm going to say, is any positive or negative whole number. Now, someone's going to say, if they want to be smart, maybe Max would say this come next year or whatever. He'd say, well, you can't have a negative whole number. You're right. You can't have a negative whole number. Whole numbers are positives. Okay? But for my lack of a better explanation, I'm just going to have you remember that an integer is any positive or negative whole number. No decimals, no fractions, just whole numbers. And it's positives or negatives. And it's also zero. So any positive or negative whole number and zero. Now, if we were to use a Venn diagram to represent our numbers, okay, this would be our integers. Outside of that would be, I switched around. Sorry about that. Yeah. In the box, sorry about that, would be your whole numbers. Outside of that would be our integers. Okay, and what that means is every whole number is an integer. but not every integer is a whole number. Okay? The integers that are not whole numbers would be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and so on. Okay? Later on this year, we're going to add a next thing. You don't need to write this down yet. And those would be rational numbers. Okay? But we're going to focus in on the integers and the whole numbers. Okay? Now, absolute value. Is simply the distance a number is from 0. Or the distance a number is from 0. The distance a number is from 0. And this is most important. Always represented as a positive. Now, the symbol for absolute value is simply two parallel lines. Okay? So when you have two parallel lines and you have a number inside of it, that is the symbol for absolute value. So we have a number line. And here is 0. For the most part, we've always dealt with positive numbers. From this point on, we're going to start dealing with negative numbers.
Do you write this down?
The number line, you don't need to worry about writing it down. This is just, if you do great, no big deal. So, if we talk about the number 3, okay, now you can put this as an example. The absolute value of 3. How far is 3 away from 0? 3. So the absolute value of 3 is 3. Rocket science, right?
Oh, is this all you gotta do?
Now, the absolute value of -3. How far is -3 away from 0?
3.
It's 3 away. So the example of the absolute value of -3 would simply be 3 also.
So that's all you do.
That's all absolute value is. It's the distance a number is from 0. Okay, yes?
And it's it's always the same number as a positive. If it is.
Exactly. Now, where they might try to trick you, okay, if they were to give you this, the negative absolute value of -3. Now, in this situation, the absolute value of -3 is 3, but you have a negative outside of it,
So it's negative.
so it would be a -3. Okay? That might be the only time that they're going to really try to trick you with it. Now, if they gave you this number, 7, and they ask you, what are 2 ways you can represent 7 with absolute value? What are the 2 integers that you can represent and still have 7 with absolute value? The 2 integers would be
-7 and 7.
-7 and 7. So one would be the absolute value of 7. The other would be the absolute value of -7. Because they both mean the same as 7. Okay? And you'll have that type of question as well.
Okay.
That's absolute value. Nadia. Okay.
Line problem. And it was like two lines.
Yeah.